about moving to Emeryville in 2021, here are some pros and cons you should consider. One pro is that within Emeryville, away from the marina, there are lots of walkways for running throughout some of these condo developments, plenty of bike lanes, and then there's even a skateboard park closer to San Pablo Avenue. One con is that if you live closer to San Pablo Avenue, there tends to be more traffic there. There's the Cards Club and there are a lot more fast food restaurants, so there tends to be more property crime and trash, etc. One pro of living in Emeryville is that there is a lot more development around these biotech centers, and there's more housing development, and some of these old factories, because this used to be primarily industrial, were converted to condos and lofts. So in terms of development and redevelopment, the city is really on it and providing more housing. Con, however, is that it's still, like the rest of the Bay Area, relatively expensive to live here, whether you're renting or buying. And if you're purchasing a condo, those HOA fees, even though the buildings provide a lot of amenities, can be on the higher side. And that's money that you don't get back. A con of living here is that there isn't that much single-family home inventory. I'll show you now some homes, the limited space in which there are homes, single-family homes, from the early 1900s, late 1800s in Emeryville. Another pro of living in Emeryville is the EMERY-GO-ROUND, which provides free, it's not really free, it's on your property tax bill, but it provides transportation around Emeryville and to the MacArthur BART, which is the closest BART station. In addition to having the EMERY-GO-ROUND, there are plenty of Trans-Bay bus lines that pass through Emeryville. You have really easy access, especially if you're coming from Stanford and Emeryville. By the marina, there's a sly way to get onto the 80 to get onto the bridge to San Francisco, so you can avoid a lot of traffic. Pro is that the city is relatively well run. A lot of the streets are maintained, unlike a lot of parts of Oakland. In addition to that, when I lived in Emeryville, a lot of the streets are lined with trees, which the arborists who maintain those come pretty frequently. The pro is, like I said, the city's always developing or trying to improve the walkability, the bikeability of the city, the accessibility of all the amenities that surround Emeryville. They're right now building another connection from the condos on the other side of the overpass to access Bay Street. There it is. Another pro is all the amenities, restaurants, bars that are close to these condos. There's Bay Street in Emeryville. That's one of the remaining malls and shopping centers with AMC theaters, or a few restaurants over there. There's House Street Plaza, which has Ross, Trader Joe's, Burger King, Daiso, Bevmo, those types of chain shops. There's also Emeryville Marketplace, which might be redeveloped, but they have a wide variety of cuisines. Again, just across from the AMTRACK station and a lot of these condos on this side of Emeryville. There's also Best Buy, Target, Petco, Granite Expo if you're remodeling, Rudy's Can Fail Cafe, along Powell Street down this way. Another pro is if you work in the tech industry or the biotech industry, there are plenty of job opportunities on this side of the bay instead of being in San Francisco. There's going to be another big development of biotech. Pixar Studios is also located in Emeryville. When it comes to industries or local employers, one is Cliff Bar, which is also on along Hollis Street. So that's another big employer. Pete's Coffee is also based in Emeryville, as is Grocery Outlet, Bargain Market. So a lot of headquarters are based in Emeryville. Another con in Emeryville, in addition to there being low single-family home supply, if you are moving from the city to the East Bay hoping that you'll get more of a suburban feel, living in Emeryville won't necessarily supply that, because if you live in these condos, some of these newer developments in the industrial areas, they don't feel very suburban. You feel kind of like you're being boxed in. When I moved into Emery Station from a single family home in Bushrod a long time ago, I felt like I was living in a hotel, which, you have your advantages of the amenities of the condos, but you're out here, you're surrounded by a lot of new construction like you would be in an urban part or downtown in a city where you work. As I was talking about parking enforcement and how they're a little bit more lenient in Emeryville about parking tickets, I spoke too soon because it looks like they've gone around and changed some of the places where you used to be able to park for free all day to paid parking and limited to 2 hours. So let me show you an example, because I used to live in this building at Emery Station and used to be able to park for free under the underpasses, but now they're charging. If you have free parking, it won't last for long. But I also have to note that if you live in one of these condo buildings, oftentimes there's one parking space that's included in your purchase of the condo loft and your payment in the HOA. So another con is if you live close to the AMTRACK lines, like I used to, it can be pretty noisy at night. And the same thing goes if you live on the other side of the AMTRACK lines and the overpass. It can be pretty noisy if you live near the interstate, like in the Pacific Park Plaza building over there. You can hear the interstate from the lower floors. So another pro of living in Emeryville is that you are close to a lot of restaurants in Emeryville proper. Not just in Emeryville Marketplace. Bay Street's a lot of chain restaurants. For whatever reason too, Emeryville has a lot of Subways, and there's Pete's Coffee. I think it's got a couple of Starbucks. That's probably because of all the industries that are around. So Los Moles, oh, that truck's in the way. Los Moles is one of my favorite places to get mole chicken. They do have brunch now. They have some outdoor seating right now. There's this, I know the owner over here at the sushi place. They have pretty good sushi. There's a ramen place. Over here, I'm just on the corner of 65th and Hollis. Over there, there's a brewery company that's coming soon. And there's a ramen place over there that I hope is still around. Speaking of restaurants, Jasmine Blossom's looking a little, their sign's looking a little bit sad, but that place is pretty good. There's another Thai place further down on Hollis. I'll drive by, I'll show you a clip of it. Summer, that's the one. There's not much of a nightlife scene, unless you're playing at the Oaks Park Club or going to some of the breweries around here. So like I said about the nightlife, a pro still is if you want to get out of Emeryville, you can just hop in your car. It would take me 2 minutes in my car just to get to Oakland. Depending on what part of Emeryville I live in too, I can bike really quickly to Oakland. This walkway goes through Oakland and extends all the way to Berkeley on that side. All the way to Berkeley Bowl West, the Organic Community Garden. I don't know how well you can hear me because I have a mic on, but whatever, the Organic Community Garden. So one con is that even though the city's well run, the schools aren't so highly ranked in Emeryville proper, and private school and Montessori school around here is pretty expensive. So another pro of living in Emeryville, so windy, is the Emeryville Marina. The people bike, jog, there's like, I see a lot of people playing Frisbee, bringing their dogs out here. There's kite surfing. If you look really closely, you can see some kites over there. There's KGB kiteboarding that teaches people to kite surf. Woo, and it's so windy. There's several waterfront restaurants in the Emeryville Marina. One of those is Hong Kong East, which arguably has the best views of the city along the Emeryville Marina, but there's also Trader Vic's and Chevy's on the other side of the Emeryville Marina. I was just saying, if you're really adventurous, you could also live on a houseboat out here.